Hey friends, it's Holly from Chic Antique. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a makeover on a mirror. I'm going to show you the easiest way to paint a mirror. It's with chalk paint, my favorite style of paint. So if you're excited for this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and let's get started. Here's the piece that we're going to be working on today. It is a mirror. This is actually the matching mirror to that green and gold dresser I uploaded a couple weeks ago. So as you can see, it's actually in really good shape. It doesn't have very much damage, but we're going to be painting it so it can match that dresser. So stay tuned. We're going to start out as we always do, cleaning the piece. I'm going to be using Dixie Belle's white lining cleaner. I'm going to be mixing that with some warm water, use a rag, and I'm going to wipe down the entire piece. Use this old toothbrush to get in any corners or cracks that I can't reach with the microfiber rag. And I'm even using the white lightning cleaner on the mirror glass itself. It actually cleaned it super well. Even though there's not that much water left, you can see it is pretty dirty from just the mirror alone. Now I'm going to be rinsing off the white lightning using clean, clear water. You always want to rinse off your cleaner unless it specifically says no rinse, because you don't want any residue on your piece. That could cause any adherence problems. You want the paint to adhere right to the surface. After that dries, I'm going to be scuff sanding the entire surface using 220 grit sandpaper. If you've used chalk paint, you know that sanding is not required, but I like to sand anyway just to get a good surface for the chalk paint to adhere to. As I always say, prep is the most important part, so any extras you can do are going to create a better finish and a more long-lasting finish as well. After doing all the sanding, I'm going to remove all that dust using a microfiber cloth. Any areas that I missed or that I can't reach with the cloth, I'm using a synthetic brush to get in any of those cracks or crevices that I cannot reach. Now I'm going to be filling in a couple of holes. I'm going to be using Bondo's all-purpose wood filler. It is a 2-part filler. It dries super hard and super quickly, so you need to move fast. And you mix 1 part of the filler to a very small portion of cream hardener. You want to mix that up as fast as you can because it does set down completely within 30 minutes. And I'm just showing you here what I'm filling in. I don't know what these little circular divots are for. I have no idea, but I do not like them, so I'm just gonna fill them in to create a smooth finish on the top. And this is sped up, but I did work really quickly to get this on as soon as possible. And after that dried, I did go over it with 220 grit sandpaper as well. Now I'm going to be taping off the mirror glass itself to protect it. I am using some painter's tape, and it's actually kind of funny. Right after I finished this project, I got a tip from another furniture artist on Instagram to use playing cards instead of tape. So you just take the cards and you stick them in the crevice between the wood and the mirror. And apparently that's super easy and much easier than taping. I can't tell you how long this taping took. It's definitely sped up and cut out, but I wish I knew that tip before I got started. That would have been a lot easier. So I'm trying to tell you the easiest way to paint a mirror. I recommend getting some cheap playing cards and sticking those in the crevices instead of taping, because I myself personally hate taping. So if you also hate taping, definitely recommend trying that out. Now for paint, I'm using Dixie Belle's Chalk Mineral Paint in Palmetto. It is a dark green color, and I'm using a 1-inch synthetic brush. And there's a little bit of shaking coming up. I apologize for that. I had my tripod set up directly on the mirror, so anytime I bumped it, it bumped the camera as well. So I apologize for that. But I'm just showing you here how I go from section to section, and I am keeping a wet edge at all times. So I go in small sections, moving from each side, and then once I finish a whole area, then I go back and do one large stroke on that area. So I'm just starting in little sections and making my way around. If you like a smooth finish with your chalk paint like I do, I would definitely recommend using a synthetic brush. I prefer the feel of a natural hair bristle brush, but it definitely leaves more brush strokes. So if you're trying to get a smooth, modern finish, I definitely recommend a synthetic brush like this one. If you ever feel like your paintbrush is dragging or you're getting a ton of brush strokes and you're using chalk paint, make sure to keep a spray bottle handy. You can spray your brush or even spray your piece. I recently tried that technique and I actually do like it. I don't love it. I don't think I would use it for every piece, but you can definitely spray your piece and your paintbrush to get a smoother finish if you feel like your paint is drying really fast or you're getting brush strokes. On the rest of the mirror, I'm going section by section. As you can see here, I'm doing the inside crevice there first, and then I'm going over the front portion of the wood there. So section by section, keeping a wet edge, and then I do a long stroke over the entire area. Here's that second coat now, just showing you close up the top of the mirror, how that looks. This paint has really good coverage, not as good as some of their other colors. at least in my experience with this piece, because it was a dark piece originally, and then I was going over with this medium dark green color, so I did need about 2.5 coats of paint. I didn't show the half coat I did, but it takes, at least in my experience, 2 coats for this color, and then just some touch-ups in any areas that you may have missed or that didn't get enough coverage. And now for the satisfying bit, we're going to be removing all the protection from the mirror. I taped the edges and then I taped down paper on top of that, so I'm going to remove that now. Now to finish off this piece, I'm going to be sealing it with clear coat in a flat finish by Dixie Belle to make sure that it has durability. Although this isn't a high traffic piece, I always recommend sealing your pieces. If you prefer wax, you can do that, but I prefer clear coat. So I am using clear coat in a flat finish to match the dresser that this went with. And just some tips for this clear coat, specifically if you haven't used it or you're curious, I recommend having a spray bottle and dampening your brush with that as well so that it can glide on smoother. As you can see, I'm spraying my brush right here. I do that periodically throughout just to keep it going on smoothly. A lot of people have problems with clear coat with it being streaky or having brush strokes or just not having a smooth finish. So wetting your brush, keeping it damp as you go along definitely helps. And you want to go section by section just like the paint. Keep a wet edge and then do a long stroke at the end. I love the flat clear coat because it is virtually invisible. It goes on a little bit milky, that way you can see where you have applied it, which is pretty nice, but it dries crystal clear. It has virtually no brush strokes and it is practically invisible. You wouldn't even know it's there. It leaves a really, really lovely chalky finish. You do want to get it on as soon as possible, so you don't want to be going over the same areas multiple times or working slowly. You do want to move as quickly as you can to get this on so that it can level on its own. And here I'm showing you, I got a little bit of clear coat on the mirror, but since this clear coat is water-based, it's super easy to clean up. So I just used a wet microfiber rag and just wiped that up from the edge. And now that it's all done, I just want to remind you what we started with. And here's what it looks like now. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this makeover today. I hope you liked it. If you have any questions about this makeover, how to paint a mirror, how to use chalk paint, anything like that, make sure to leave them in the comments below. And if you aren't already following me on Instagram, I would love it if you would follow me there. I'll have it linked in the description. And I thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Really? Sheesh. That smells like so bad, you guys.